So it's harder than ever to make a lot of money on Airbnb. And the competition is fierce with the number of increased hosts all doing the same thing. So it's blending together and diluting the average host profits. But today I'm going to show you, with the help of a friend, how to rise above all these average hosts by elevating your design to stand out from that competition and become one of the top performing listings in your market. This is exactly what I'm doing on this 130 unit boutique hotel that I'm working on right now that I have under contract in the Smoky Mountains. I'm not there today, but we'll go to the portion where I was there over this weekend. And this is one of the hottest and most competitive markets in the country. So it's super important here. I've got a special guest today that is going to show how we plan to make all 130 units stand out and become one of the most talked about properties. And I forgot to record this intro while I was at the property a few days ago. I was going to pan and show the whole property, but we'll still get to see a good portion of that. We're going to go inside the units. We're going to do the exterior, talk about the game plan of how we're going to really blend these upgraded interiors and refreshed designs into this amenity rich exterior with pickleball courts and game rooms and pavilions and outdoor bars, all the things that we're adding to make this property really special, and how to incorporate all the different design plans. So be a really good video, and hope you guys like it. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe if you guys find value in this. And I'm here today with none other than Bree from Somerled Designs. And what Bree and Somerled do different is Bree's actually an STR owner and operator herself. So what they do is bring that owner's approach and understanding to the short-term rental design and really stand out among the competition. So they research the local market, how to stand out, what your competition is doing, and how you can differentiate yourself to get the bookings and really drive the revenue for the short-term rentals. And for myself, like when looking for the designer, what I really liked about Somerled and their team was that they have a big team. So they have a full project management and a full design team on top of the two owners, which Bree heads up operations, and her partner Jordan does the design. So that whole team brings a more integrated approach and keeps the work off of me so much, right? So like I've got everything to worry about of the operations, how to run the hotel, hire and staffing and managing the whole hotel to take care of my money and the investors' money in it. So I wanted to bring in a team and was worried about just hiring the solopreneur type of designer who maybe has a helping hand or an assistant for the scope of this project, because it's 130 rooms, it's on 10 acres with 65,000 square feet of finished space. So it's big, right? Like there's a lot to do. So her having the team really kind of set her apart for me when choosing. So something for you to consider, right? If you're maybe have a full-time job or you have more involved in running your business, and you're not design inclined like myself. So you find the right designer that fits the project and the scope that you're looking for. So the points we're going to talk about today are exactly what I look for when I'm analyzing a short-term rental market, and how they really approach the design phase of how to stick out from your competitors, earn more revenue, and have more differentiated, unique listings. Because in 2023, the competition is fierce, and you need to stand out to actually make the revenue and hit the projections in your short-term rental investment. So that's what we're going to get into, and I'll hand it over to Bree for designing and the market research that goes into that.
Yeah, thanks for having me here on this project. It is a big one, but we are well equipped with the knowledge that I have gained from owning my own short-term rentals and having the strategy that comes with that. So what differentiates Somerled from other design firms is we focus heavily on research and strategy. Design, in my eyes, is a guaranteed way that you can boost your ROI. If you have better design, then you're going to be able to charge more for a nightly rate. You will have more occupancy, and you will have a competitive edge above your competitors. So to make it a full circle, we need to look at a few things before we get into design. We need to look at what the competition is doing, what do they offer, and what is their design style, what makes them unique. We also need to look at the area we're designing in, which here we're in Townsend, Tennessee, which is the peaceful side of the mountain.
Smoky Mountain.
It has some great attractions here. So we looked at the horse stables that it offers. It has a river with tubing. You're right next to the national park. We looked at who will be coming here and how we can attract those people to book your property over a competitor's property.
And those are the exact things that I look for as the owner, right? The investor putting in the money to the project, because I want to have higher rates than my competitors and have a higher margin and just obviously perform better, right? When you're investing in a market, you want to see how can I stand out to actually hit the rates that I need to make the investment worth it. So all the things that they do resonate really well with my approach to short-term rental investing. And here on like the boutique hotel scale, it becomes even more important because you have so many different units that are all competing. So really hammering your design, meeting those amenities, and I talk about it a lot, is really knowing your different demographic and who's going to book your place, what brings them there, and how you can cater to that through your design. And the next one, especially in today's market, which is really important, is themed homes and spaces. So you really want to cater, like we mentioned, to that target demographic and incorporate themes that when you're scrolling through the listings and you see the hero photo online, that it grabs people's attention and fits the market that they're in and the activities that they're coming to experience. So you want to talk to that of how you guys theme based on the market?
I would also say it's really important to remember you're not designing for your own personal preference. You're designing for a target audience. So say here in your hotel, Blake, we are targeting families. It's going to be really important for families to create special moments with their kids, or if you're having a family reunion with a larger group of family members. And so theming it to attract their attention, like you're saying, we live in a world where you're going to scroll, and that leads to the overall pop factor. Photos are so important for your property. It is one of your few marketing tools, honestly, that you have to present your property. And so as designers, we're always focusing on how we can make the photography pop. You know, here we're in one of the hotel spaces, obviously not designed yet, and we have some great beige walls, which aren't exciting. They wouldn't make me say, oh, I have to book this for my family. But when we come in here and we design with color and different interests and bring in that wow moment that makes you stop in your tracks when you're looking at listings, that is what will allow you to charge a higher nightly rate, because more people will be interested in it and book you over your competition.
Yeah, and really you want to think about it as really like a marketing perspective, and you want your space to market itself, because that's how you're going to stand out, right? When people scroll through your photos, you want to create the wow factor. So we're going to have accent walls and cool wallpapers and stuff like that to really grab people's attention in each room. So that way, when we have our different design themes for each building, they're really going to stand out and create a unique space that people will visualize themselves in that space and then be more likely to book. Because like as an Airbnb investor, your big metrics are your views, your clicks, and your bookings. So the more views you get, the more clicks you'll get, and the more bookings you get. And that's why the pop factor is really, really important. And that leads us to the next point, which is the amenities. And this property, we're really creating like an amenity haven with our putt-putt and the pickleball courts, the pavilion, the outdoor bar, the game room. Like so much stuff is going into the CapEx and the improvements on the property to add amenities, to create really an experience that guests have when they stay here. So like, how do you look at the amenities when you're like designing a space, or even like this big hotel?
Yeah, I mean, I start with a competition. I look at what everybody else is doing, write out lists, and I notice trends. So if there's a trend that everybody has fire pits, everybody has a pool, whatever it may be, that is a must. And then I go above and beyond and choose one or two, in this case, like 5 new amenities that no one else has, that will justify them paying more for your property because you offer X, Y, and Z over anybody else.
Yep. And also, like, the more amenities that you can have at your listing, you're going to show up in more searches. So like, think on Airbnb, when you're creating your listings, on the amenity section, you have all those boxes that you can check. Like, yes, I have a hot tub. Yes, I have a pool. Yes, I have a pool table or games or whatever it is. The more you are able to select with your property, it leads back again to views, clicks, bookings. You'll stand out and show up in more searches, and people will pay more for a place with more amenities. And then that is what creates the experience that guests actually have when they stay at the property.
Yeah, that experience is the magic that you want your guests to feel when they're walking in. They're like, this is better than the photos. I am having so much fun with my family. I want to book here again. It creates loyalty that people keep returning year after year. And it also creates great reviews. You know, when they're happy at the end of the day, they're going to leave you a great review, and that helps the algorithm, also helps you on Google search.
Yeah, and how I think about it is I'm not actually selling a listing, I'm selling the experience, right? And how I service guests and the cleanliness when they show up and the amenities that they get, like that all goes into this experience factor. But probably the biggest piece of it is the design, the amenities that you provide. So when people check in, they're like, wow, this place is awesome. Like, I'm so glad I paid $500 a night to stay at this, hotel or whatever that situation might be. And all this stuff is great. So we're not actually going to just sit here the whole time. We're going to go walk around the hotel and actually see how we're going to implement these strategies on these 130 rooms, 8 different buildings, plus the venue to see how it all comes together.
Today, Blake and I walked through the property. We went room by room to check out the furniture. We don't want to discard of anything that we could use. We want to save him money here. And so this room, for example, we really did like the furniture style. It has this natural wood feel, which is an element that we want to bring into this property. We want it to feel like you are in the mountain. This is a resort. And so we're opting to keep a lot of this style of furniture. We will show you some other furniture that we are opting to not keep. But what we will be adding to this is paint and wallpaper and artwork. We're trying to create this experience and a feeling that you are in the mountains and something that will be inviting and exciting to his guests.
Yep. And this is where the devil is in the details, because we have 8 different buildings. They're all a little bit different in the furniture we're keeping versus getting rid of and replacing with new furniture. So as we're walking through, we're like, all right, the standard wood is really good. The bed frame matches. And these are smaller rooms, so there's not a whole lot of furniture that needs to go into place. So that's how do we strategize how to make the rooms pop with the splash walls behind the beds and things like that to get the most out of the design budget.
We're here in one of the 8 buildings on the property. Now, each building is going to have a different design style. We're doing this because we want each of the buildings to have a unique feel, and we want families to come back over and over again. So this one here is a suite room, and it's great because it has 2 king beds, one in here, one in the room you just saw. It also has this pull-out sofa. We're going to keep a lot of the layout, but refreshing the furniture and refreshing the design to come up with something that is a little bit more modern, still remembering that we are in the mountains and keeping it rustic, but more up to date and exciting for these families to visit.
And this is one of our other room types. We've got the double queens in the first room here, and then you go back to the living room. So these are going to be more of family suites as well, right? The kids or the family can sleep in here, have the cousins on the back couch, and all of them have patios as well. So we have multiple different approaches that we have to bring with our measurements, with the organization of making sure everything is planned out to order the right amounts, right? And really purchase in bulk to get the most bang for our buck on these 130 rooms, because it's a lot. So I guess you could talk about that and like how you going about the different rooms.
Yeah, when you brought us on, we knew this was going to be a project management undertaking, that we would have to stay organized from the beginning, especially with ordering. Who wants to order all this furniture and have something be wrong in the measurements? There's small room for error with such a big project. So to get on top of it up front, we are visiting here today, and we are taking extensive notes on the furniture we are going to be keeping and what needs to be included. We are also getting a company called Matterport out here next week, which they're a company who will come in and scan the property so that we can virtually walk it when we're back home and not here every day. If we forget something, we can go walk it and check. And we're also able to grab measurements from it. Anything from a ceiling height to the width of this dresser we can get from the scan. So all this upfront organization will really help us when we get into the design phase and actually choosing the pieces. We will have the number of items we need to source, and from there it should be organized, and into ordering we will have a plan for everything.
There you have it. And this is our view and one of the big draws of this property. So behind me, we've got the playground. You can't see it because the bush is in the way, but we've got an outdoor movie screen and projector for family nights in the park or whatever that looks like. But we're also going to add pickleball courts here in this open grassy flat space, along with putt-putt as well. So again, those are the amenities that we're going to add to get higher ADRs and attract more families that will stay for longer and spend more on a nightly stay at this property, and really just enjoy all that it has to offer, being so close to the national park, having those amenities to attract active people and active couples that are going biking or hiking or whatever brings them to the Smoky Mountains. This is kind of going to check all those boxes with the amenities, with the space, with the design appeal that we're creating in each room. And one of the coolest things is that with the 8 different rentable buildings, we're going to have 8 different designs, one for each building. So every time a guest stays, they'll be able to get a unique experience, see something new. You will have modern mountain, cottage core, modern Scandinavian. So we'll have these different design aspects that share like a common thread of the overall vibe of the property. and really just create something unique for every stay, unless they stay, 9 or more times. But then we have the wedding venue, you can have them back for the wedding, and that'll be an extra revenue source for us as well. That's really symbiotic. And when people book that venue, it'll drive the bookings of the hotel. And when people come and stay at the hotel, they'll be aware of the venue and come back to book that in the future. So for all these reasons, super excited for this project and to be working with Somerled, see their design vision, get to work with their team and start to put these pieces in place. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the comments below, and we'll keep bringing content as the project progresses, as we start the renovation here in like 4 or 5, 6 weeks after closing, after Labor Day. So see you guys on the next one.